Om Shanti. The old year is ending and the new year is coming soon. How many days left? Just 3 days left. We will bid goodbye to 2005 and we will enter 2006. And we will celebrate the confluence of both the years with Baaba at midnight of 31st December. So it will be like celebrating 2 years with Baaba. Meeting for 2 years with Baaba. 2005 and 2006. And we'll see what Baaba has to tell us on the 31st. But we have to be prepared for everything. Baaba has already told us so many things. He has predicted the future as well in so many different ways. And He has prepared us to face any situation, come what may, which could come from nature, which could come from people, which could come from our own sanskars. But then, in order to overcome all that, we have to make our mind and intellect very, very powerful. Just as a car, if it has a good brake, a very powerful brake, then so many accidents are avoided. Otherwise, there could be such dangerous accidents. But because of a powerful brake, many accidents are averted. And therefore we can say that in order to face the situations of the world, we will need a very powerful brake, and that brake is our mind and intellect. And therefore, in order to make the mind and intellect, we need to experience concentration and absorption. Baaba said the other day in the last Murli about love and loveleen. Love means love, we understand what it means. Love for the self, love for Baaba, love for the family. And loveleen, lost in love or merged in love, which are two separate things. Just to have love and to be lost or merged in love. To be merged in love means to be merged in love of Baaba alone. The self also merges in Baaba. Everything should merge in Baaba. When something is merged in another thing, that which is merged is dissolved or it disappears. Just like when sugar is put in milk, the sugar dissolves. Then you can't see it anymore. You just see the milk. So that which absorbs only is visible, but that which is you, which is mixed, that is not visible. So only Baaba should be visible and nothing else. I also merge in Baaba. The family merges in Baaba. It's just Baaba and none other. But for that, I need a very powerful mind and intellect. And for that, concentration and absorption are essential. Of course, every individual soul has its separate identity. Shiv Baba has a separate identity. No soul will merge in any other soul or merge in the Supreme Soul. All souls are individual in their identities because they are eternal. They are never created, they never get destroyed. So there's no question of merging of anyone in any other one. But then, when we are lost in love, we merge in love, and that at that moment the one who loves loses his identity, forgets his identity, and only the one who is loved, that one only emerges. The one who loves merges. Both become one. And therefore Baba says, I am the beloved. You are all my lovers. And your love for me should be pure, altruistic. In order to do that, we need a lot of concentration power. In bhakti, though they try to remember God, but then there is so much selfishness. And because of that selfishness, when they get something from God, they think God is very good, very great. But then when their wish is not fulfilled, they even begin to curse God. Many people curse God. They say, oh God, you don't listen to me. Are you deaf? This is like cursing God, no? To tell someone, are you deaf? Because there are so many desires. And where there are desires, there love finishes. Love and desires don't go together. If there is love, there are no desires. Instead, there is renunciation, giving, because there's love. Like a mother, she keeps giving to the child because she loves the child. She doesn't think of anything else. And therefore, in love, there is actually renunciation. Of course, there are rights too. Where there's love, if I love somebody, I have a right over that person. But then where there is love, I want to give to. So it's both ways, definitely. If it is just one way, then that love also cannot last forever. If it's just one way giving, and the other one is just taking and taking and taking and not reciprocating, then that love can't go on forever. But it has to be both ways. And therefore, that is true love. Both are ready to renounce. Not only one side renunciation and the other side just receiving. Then that is true love. So Baba does expect us to renounce, but what does he say to renounce? Our vices, the impure things, the bad things, the unwanted things, that which will not accompany the soul, that which we never had with us before. And therefore Baba says, renounce the attachment to all that. And then Baba says, in return, I give you so much. Actually, there are 3 steps to renunciation. One step is when the one who is giving, he is giving me so much love, that I renounce without any other thoughts. It's so easy to renounce because the love which I receive is so much. And compared to that, what I renounce is nothing. Love has an utmost place. The other is where I'm given the temptation that if you renounce, then you will get so much. And I look at both, what I have to renounce and what I'm getting in return. Compared to what I'm renouncing, what I'm going to get is so much more. So it's not difficult to renounce because I'm seeing that what I'm getting. And therefore I don't mind renouncing something which is not very much useful. The return is there. I'm seeing it. In the first instance, I'm not thinking of the return. I'm just renouncing instantly. That is instant love. But then the second is where I am tempted, and that is why I renounce. And the third is I renounce out of fear. Like a thief, maybe he comes in front of me and shows me a gun. Come on, give me everything, whatever you have. Otherwise, I'll kill you. What will you do? If somebody shows you a gun and says, I'll shoot you, I'll kill you. If you want to save your life, give me whatever you have. What will you do? Never mind, let him take. Okay, I'll remove my watch, I'll remove whatever I have, gold, any money. Okay, take, but save my life. Because life is more precious compared to other things, the physical things. I'm ready to renounce this, but that is out of fear. And whilst I'm renouncing, actually at that moment I'm not really renouncing it happily, but I'm renouncing it reluctantly, no doubt. And along with the renunciation, I'm also cursing him. Go, die. Take it, die. Along with take it, go and die. Though I may not say it in words, but inside I don't like it, but I'm forced to. So I will give him with a curse. And that is what they say, that if I take something out of force from somebody, that what I have received will never really be useful to me. It will never give me happiness. There's a very beautiful saying, whatever comes easily, that is like milk. It gives strength. You drink milk, you get strength. So that whatever you get easily is like milk which gives strength. Whatever you get on asking, can I have this? We ask, can I have this? I say, okay, you want it? Take it. That is like water. Because you ask for water, you don't ask for milk. Can I have a cup of milk? You will ask, can I have a cup of water? So when you drink water, your thirst is quenched, that's all. But you don't get strength. Water doesn't give strength. It only quenches the thirst. So that which you get on asking is like water. It only quenches your thirst at that moment. But that which you take by force is like blood, which you take out by force. Blood doesn't come out otherwise. Only if you injure it something and then force it, and then the blood will come out of the veins. So that which you take by force is like blood. And that blood which comes out is of no use. It can't be used for anybody else. You can't take that blood out and give it to somebody else. is taken out by force, or somebody is shot and the blood comes out. So that's no use. Nobody is able to take benefit of that blood. It just goes away. It drains away. But then if somebody is giving blood voluntarily, he shows his arm and an injection is put and his blood is taken out. But that is voluntary contribution. He donates blood. And that blood is stored. It is food for a person, so it can save someone's life. So I've done it voluntarily. That is more than milk. So that the very beautiful saying, what comes easily with love, that is like milk which gives strength. That which you ask for and get, that is like water. And that which you take out by force, take away by force, that is like blood which is destroyed. It gives benefit to no one. So Baaba teaches us the first method. He tells us with love, children, remember me. So he teaches us how to love him. And when we have love for Baaba, then we surrender instantly. It's because of love. We don't see anything else. But then Baaba says that some children don't surrender out of love. They want the second method. So Baaba adopts the second method also. He says, children, I give you so much wealth. You become the princes and princesses of heaven, golden age. You will get extreme happiness there. Baaba talks about what Baaba is going to give to us, or he's giving to us. So it's like a temptation, no doubt. Children, if you renounce, then you'll get this. So we watch, which is better. Baaba is asking to renounce, the second method. But then sometimes Baaba uses a third method also. Which is a third method? Dharamraj, yes, Dharamraj. Children, if you won't do it, then beware, you will be punished. Some children say, why is Baaba, giving us like, he's like, what should you say? We feel so afraid, he's like frightening us by talking about Dharamraj, by talking about destruction. Baba's frightening us. So actually Baaba is not actually frightening us. He has great love for us, for me. But because I'm not adopting the first method, okay, not even the second method, the third method has to be adopted. There's no other way out. So Baaba doesn't talk about destruction straight away. First he talks about, how we start loving God. How do you love somebody? Let us take it on a very psychological level. When do you start loving somebody? You see his good qualities. Oh, this one is so sweet, so lovely. Some or the other good quality is churned in your mind, and you start having love for that one. It attracts. The good qualities attract. The second could be truth attracts. I tell you this is rolled gold and this is pure gold. Maybe that rolled gold, which is 9-carat gold, is shining much more than the pure gold. But I tell you, this is artificial. It will turn black soon, and this is real gold. And I tell you, select between the two. What would you select? What would you select? Would you select the real gold, or would you select that artificial gold? You're told to select between the two. You have a choice. What will you be attracted to? The real gold, definitely. So, reality, truth attracts. And God is truth, the ever pure. That's why God attracts. Beauty attracts. Beauty attracts, definitely. but beauty in virtues that attracts. So we think of God as when we say Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, truth, the benefactor and the beautiful. So all these three attract the soul, and on the basis of that, we start loving God. Then the mind and intellect get absorbed in God's love. Because the mind is churning, and the intellect is understanding and then getting absorbed. The soul is getting absorbed in the love of God. Without any other thoughts of what God is going to give me, what I'm receiving from God, even that thought doesn't come. But I see God's beauty, I see God's truth, I see God as a supreme father, mother, friend, teacher, beloved, all relationships, and immediately the mind and intellect are absorbed in the supreme. So that is the highest stage of concentration and absorption, where the mind and intellect are able to concentrate and absorb in the qualities of the supreme. So when we meditate, and I say, Shiv Baba, you are the ocean of peace, and I, your worthy child, soul, am an embodiment of peace. And immediately I become absorbed. Now in bhakti, this type of absorption was not possible. Why? Because I had the thought, oh, God is something so great. And I'm something so low, so weak. I'm a sinner, I'm impure, I'm this, I'm that. And God is something so high. And the result was that thinking that God is so supreme and I'm so low, then how can that absorption be there? It's only begging. God, give me peace, give me love, give me happiness. God, take away my sins. God, purify me. God, do this, God, do that to me. I'm only begging. But when we meditate, the consciousness is different. We say that there are two types of ignorance, we were showing in bhakti, in the world. One ignorance is the inferiority complex. I'm impure, I'm bad, I'm vicious, I'm this, I'm that, I'm weak, all the bad things about the self. That is inferiority complex. And the other is superiority complex. I am intelligent, I am rich, I am beautiful, I am this, I am that, the superiority complex. And both, Baba says, are ignorance. Because I'm not really that. But I am a peaceful soul, I'm a loving soul, I'm a blissful soul, I'm a pure soul. This is self-awareness, self-realization, and self-respect. Self-understanding. Truth of the self. And when I'm aware of myself in that way, then I can absorb in the Supreme. How can an impure one absorb in the pure one? Only a pure one can absorb in the pure one. A peaceless soul can't absorb in a peaceful father. Only a peaceful soul can absorb in a peaceful father. So I am a peaceful soul and I merge in the ocean of peace. But if I say I'm peaceless, give me peace, I can never experience peace because I need to absorb myself in the ocean of peace in order to experience the peace. And therefore, Baba says that the first stage is definitely the highest stage, where I think of all the qualities of Baba, the greatness of Baba, and on the basis of that, I churn, the mind churns, the intellect accepts, and gradually, with the help of the mind and intellect, I absorb myself in the qualities of the Supreme. That's what we say, like a drop merging in the ocean. And in bhakti, in the scriptures, they have written the soul merges in God. That's the ultimate. The soul will merge in God, and that's it. That's our aim, liberation. But Baba says, no, it can't merge in a physical way. It's not something, a drop and it will merge in the ocean. Every soul is eternal. It has an eternal role. And that role never ends. It is always there. It never erases. The cycle is eternal. How many times we have played in the cycle? It's eternal, unlimited. And therefore, there's no question of merging. But spiritually, yes, we absorb ourselves in God's love. Think of the qualities of God and be absorbed. Shiv Baba, you are the ocean of love. Just think, and I'm an embodiment of love. An embodiment of love merging in the ocean of love. That's concentration and absorption. Dadi Janki the other day was talking about a balance, a scale. There are 3 things in a scale she was mentioning. One is the needle, and the second is a horizontal rod, and the third are the scales underneath. These are 3 things, so 3 things in a scale. So we can say that mind is the vertical needle, which needs to be straight. It should not fluctuate. It should not move. It should be straight in order to get the right weight. That is called concentration of mind. And what do we mean by concentration of mind? When the mind is thinking only of one thought and going into the depth of that thought. That is called concentration. Just one thought, not 10 thoughts. If there are 10 thoughts, it means it's fluctuating. There's only one thought and going into the depth of that thought. I'm a peaceful soul, the child of the ocean of peace. And then the intellect gets absorbed in that ocean of peace, and I'm lost in peace. So this is what we say, the needle is straight, vertical. Concentration means going to the depth of one thought only. Therefore, we give the example of the sun rays. They concentrate through a convex lens and they fall on the focus at the focal point. And if you put a paper at that focal point, that paper begins to burn. Why does that paper burn? If we would ordinarily put a paper just near the sun, it would never burn. But then the rays have been concentrated. And the result is, because of that concentration, the rays give such a powerful reflection of the sun. The result is that the reflection of the sun is so powerful that the paper starts burning. It's such a tiny little reflection of such a huge sun. But that tiny little point is so powerful because of concentration. And therefore, as Baba says, you go into the depth of just one thought and become the embodiment of it. Now in bhakti, people don't understand this way. That is why they keep chanting. They keep chanting. Maybe the same word they repeat. And they repeat and repeat. So it's just the lips which are moving. I don't know if you have seen Bhagats and the path of bhakti. They have the rosary, which they're turning the beads off, and the mouth is moving, the lips are moving, and the chanting is going on, the fingers are moving, the lips are moving, and the eyes are on an image. Usually that's how they concentrate. But then very often what happens? The fingers are moving, the lips are moving, the eyes are on that image, and the mind is wandering like a vagabond. The mind did not get any aim. The hands got work. The fingers got some work to do of turning the beads. The lips got work of chanting some mantra. The eyes got work of looking at an object, at an image. But the mind did not get any work. And the result was the mind began to wander. And the intellect got no work at all. Mind, at least something maybe, but intellect not at all. The understanding isn't there at all. It is just repeating. There is a very beautiful saying in Hindi. Kabir, he was a very great poet. He told this. He said, Kar ka man ka pherat yug bhaya. Just by turning the beads of the rosary, so many ages have passed. Kar means hand, karka, manka means those beads. By turning the beads of the rosary, so many ages have passed. Par phira na man ka pher. The mind did not change. Ab kar ka man ka chhod kar man ka pher. Leave the beads of the rosary and turn the beads of your mind. That's what the saying goes. So Baba gives us that work of going into the same thought, into the depth of that thought, that is called concentration, and becoming an embodiment of it. Because as you think, so you become. As Baba says, you cannot experience peace until you realize that you are a peaceful soul. You cannot ask for peace from anybody. And nobody can give you peace on your asking. You can experience peace only on churning about peace. Only by concentrating on the ocean of peace. Only then the experience can come. And therefore Baba says, if you have this thought, I am a peaceful soul, I am the child of the ocean of peace, I reside in the abode of peace, you are in the depth of this one thought, no one in the world can make you peaceless. No one. And if this thought is not there, and you get everything, whatever you're desiring, you're achieving, you will never get peace. And therefore we say peace is either now or never. Peace or happiness are not at the end of the journey, but they are during the journey. Don't expect peace and happiness to be achieved at the end. No. It's right now or never. Because they are the qualities of the soul. And these qualities have to be experienced now, right now, through that consciousness. That is called concentration of mind. When the mind is concentrated in the self and in the Supreme, in the qualities of the Supreme, and then the intellect is absorbed in that through a realization, yes, I am that. I have the faith. So the needle is actually the mind, the concentrated mind. The horizontal rod stands for equanimity. Equanimity means to experience a stage of equanimity in every situation. Because in this world, everything is relative. Happiness, sorrow, pain, pleasure, victory, defeat, all these are relative things. All are used in comparison. Nothing is absolute in this world. Nothing. It's like they say, one man's meat is another man's poison. One man's victory means another one's defeat. So, what would you do? Rejoice for victory or be unhappy for defeat? About defeat. So it's both. One person's victory is another person's defeat. But we have to learn to be in a state of equanimity, whether victory or defeat, whether pain or pleasure, whether day or night, whether happiness or sorrow, whether loss or profit. My mind and intellect have to be stable. So that is called balance. No fluctuations. If somebody praises me, I blow up like a balloon, you put air in a balloon, you blow into a balloon, it will become so beautiful, so beautiful. It will look very beautiful, very colorful it is. But the moment you put a pin, just prick it with a pin, it takes only a second. And the result will be all the air is blown out, is gone away, and it depletes. So when the balloon depletes, it looks so ugly. So if somebody praises me, well, there's no one like me. And when somebody insults me, I've lost all my happiness. That is not called balance. So whether one praises me or abuses me, I have my self-respect. My concentration of mind is there. And the result will be that I will not fluctuate. And then those scales, there is weight, there are weights in one side, and on the other side you put whatever you have to weigh. So that balance shows only one thing. It shows just weight. It doesn't tell anything else. It doesn't tell how much it's costing. It doesn't tell its volume. It doesn't tell anything else. It just tells the weight. It tells only one thing. Similarly, Baaba says intellect means which should give importance to only values, nothing else. That is called absorption of the intellect, where the intellect is thinking only of values, which are the values of the soul. Will this action result in peace? If it will not, then this is not the right action to do. Will this action result in love? If it won't, then it's not the right action to do. This is called the intellect absorbing in those qualities and just bringing out only those qualities in action and no other qualities. If they are based on body consciousness, then Baaba says it's not the right result. If they are based on hatred and jealousy, then the result will never be good. There'll only be regretance or, afterwards only crying and sorrow and repentance. But then if they are based on the concentration of mind and absorption of the intellect, then the results will definitely be good. Why? Because they are based on values. So this is what Baaba says, the intellect has to be absorbed in Baba's love and remembrance. The mind has to concentrate in the qualities of Baba. And gradually I will feel that I am in my highest state of self-respect. I am in my soul-conscious and God-conscious stage. The intellect is functioning properly. The mind is totally concentrated. But for that, Baba says, we need a long time practice. And this is what will be useful at the end. The other day before yesterday, this question came up, that at the end, the test will be only of 1 second. And I have to pass in that test. In a second, I should be able to be absorbed, because at that moment, I'll not be able to do anything else. Nothing I'll be able to do. The only thing I'll be able to do is just go beyond. Like we give the example of a bird, a pigeon. It's facing a cat, and immediately it gets frightened. It faces a cat and gets frightened and shuts its eyes because of fright. But that would be silly, If a cat is coming, instead of just shutting the eyes out of fright, a bird can just use his wings and fly. The cat can't fly, but the bird has wings. But what happens at that time, the bird forgets that it has wings. That fear makes him forget and just shuts his eyes. No, the cat is not coming. Or, oh, I'm so afraid the cat will kill me. But it has wings. In a second, it can just fly away. This is what we have to do at the end. It should take only a second. In a second, I go beyond. The mind and intellect become absorbed in God's love. I give you my example, Once I was in a car and we had a very severe accident. We were 5 of us in the car. And just a person came, from nowhere. It was just behind a big rock. And he came. And he was a tribal man. The car was going on the street, not at very fast speed, luckily. And he just came from nowhere, just behind the rock, and he had a big bundle of wood, which he must have chopped in the forest, and he was carrying on his head. On the roadside, you see the tribal people carrying? And all of a sudden, the driver saw this somebody is right in front. Probably that person didn't see the car. And what happened? The driver, the car in which I was, we were 5 of us, he gave a very powerful brake. But by the time the brake could be applied, it hit the person. We could hear the sound. And he just moved the wheel, the steering wheel. And by that time, the axle broke. Something happened, Bah! It was a big sound. And that man fell down. He fell down. And that bundle of wood which he had on his head, that just jumped off from his hand and it hit our window screen. The window screen in the front. And the window screen crashed. Little pieces, and they all started falling inside. I was at the back. There were 3 in the front and 3 behind. We were 6 of a driver, 2 in the front and 3 behind. And it was a big car. But anyway, the window screen crashed, and all the mirrors, those glass pieces started falling, and the car moved. At that very moment, I told Baba, Baba, I'm coming to you. I became totally bodiless. This is my experience. Must be, I don't know what to the others. But I became totally bodiless. Because just maybe a half a minute before that, there was a deep, deep pit, The car could have gone right into that deep pit and fallen into the pit and finished. Or just in front, there was a big pillar, a lamppost. It could have just hit the lamppost and the car would have crushed. And I knew either a lamppost or a big, pit, a big like a valley underneath, not a pit, a big valley. It could have just gone down because we were going on a mountain. And at that moment I said, Baba, I'm coming to you. And I looked around. But what happened, very luckily, well, I'm still alive, what happened at that moment, as the car moved, everything, the axle broke, the wheel came off, something, and then the car went and there were bushes there, very strong bushes. Gradually the car went and just slept over the bushes. It just turned and slept over the bushes. And we were all inside. Of course, we fell on top of each other. We three behind, and they all fell on top of each other. But then nothing happened. Nothing happened. Of course, the car crushed. Everything in the front crushed. And we on top of each other. I got some bruises here on my neck, that's all. We all got some bruises, nothing more. None of our bones were broken, but just a few bruises. And on the contrary, those in the front, nothing happened, not even a bruise. Those glass pieces which fell didn't really hurt them. They just fell like rain showering. That's all. That's what was experienced. And we were like sound in Baba's lap. And I'm looking around. Like Baba took us in his lap. You know who were in that car? Hemlata Ben from Trinidad, Gayatri Ben from New York, Kusum Ben from, now in Guyana, I think, Dr. Kusum, and Dr. Banarsi Bhai and the driver. So we were 5, 6 in that car. And then the next day Baba was to come. Well, of course, the car broke down, and then we phoned and got another car, and the car came, and then we came to Madhuban. We were on our way to Madhuban from Palanpur by road. And the next day, Baba came to Madhuban. And Baba gave drishti to all of us. And that man who fell down, of course, his leg broke. I think there was a fracture. And his head crashed. And I think after a few days, he died in the hospital. But it became a very big case. Yes, of course, the driver had to go for so many days to the court. But then afterwards the case was finished. We had to pay a lot of money, so it became a big thing. But then at least Baba's children were saved. And when we went in front of Baba, Baba said that all your karmic accounts from the crucifix, they came down only to a prick of a thorn, and it affected the karmic accounts of that person. I don't know what Baba meant, but these were words, something like this. And that person left the body. Maybe he had very great karma. And those karma finished. And our karmic accounts, they came down from a crucifix to a prick of a thorn and finished. That's what Baba told us. But really Baba meant it, that it must have been big, great karma there. But then it was all finished. Well, why that story finished soon also? Because that man died, but then that lady, she was called to the court. I also had to go to the court as a witness. We all had to go. Because the others who were in the car, they were foreigners, no? Because they were not living in India. And I was the only one living in India, I and Banarsi Bhai. I had to stand in the witness box. And well, we told what was right. Anyway, but then it didn't go on for long. Why? Because the lady, the wife of that man who died, she married somebody else, because the tribal people, no? And she never came to the court even once. She never came. Otherwise, they have to come to the court to tell. So she never came, and therefore the case finished very soon. But what I'm trying to tell you is that at that time, my experience was I became totally bodiless, just ready for anything, because we couldn't do anything. No? Nothing was in our hands at all. And I just remember Baba. Of course, I think for a second I closed my eyes. And I saw Baba, like Baba is standing with open arms and carrying us. I can't, sometimes it's difficult to forget that scene which I experienced. But I can surely say with that courage that I could face the situation by becoming bodiless in a second. My mind and intellect were just concentrated and absorbed only in Baba, nothing else. Otherwise people scream, shout, so many things can happen. Oh, what you doing? This, that. No, just lost in Baba's love. Baba, I'm coming to you. Anyway, we did go mentally to Baba, no? Anyway, we have to go one day. So this will be our paper at the end, the last paper. It will be only of a second. But for that, we need a long time practice of being detached, of experiencing that concentration and absorption, of feeling that we are receiving God's blessings. We are getting that strength from the Supreme. We are in God's lap. Such a beautiful feeling. Usually, when people remember God, at the time when there's some adverse situation, some difficulty, some problem, only at that time. But Baba says, remember me every moment. Not even 1 second should you be without my remembrance. Even while performing actions, you should not be forgetting me. Of course, there are different methods of remembering Baba. And the easiest method Baba gives is just consider everything to belong to me. So you are using Baba's. Clothes belong, Baba gave, food Baba has given, house Baba has given, car Baba has given. So you are using it, but you are not forgetting Baba, because you will definitely remember the one who has given you something and you are using it. So if somebody has given to me also, and I am having direct connection with that one, then I'll be remembering that person. But if I put Baba in between, then personal karmic accounts are not there. You have given to Baba and Baba has given to me. So Baba is in between. I give to Baba. I remember Baba whilst giving, and how Baba is giving to me. So Baba is remembered by both. And when I use it, I know it Baba has given. Maybe through somebody. Of course, Baba will give through somebody. He can't give from the heavens, from Paramdham directly like that. It will be through somebody. No, you must have heard of a joke. There was a joke that an announcement came that this area is going to be flooded soon. The dam has burst and there's going to be water everywhere. Run, save your life and leave everything and run for your life. But one person did not go away. He said, no, God will save me. God will save me. He just sat there. So his neighbor came to him and said, come on, let's go. We must run because it's going to be flooded soon. The dam has burst. He said, no, God will help me. He will save me. And the water came. Everybody went away, but he did not. He just stood at the, inside, maybe on the roof of his hut in a village. And he said, God will save me. Then the water came. And the water reached the level of his neck. He stood on the rooftop, and the water went higher and higher and higher, reached his neck. He stood up, and there was a boat. The boatman said, come on, sit in the boat. I will take you across. He said, no, God will save me. God will save me. Then after that, the helicopter came. That person, the helicopter, he put the ladder down, throw it down. Come on, climb this ladder and you'll be saved. He said, no, God will save me. God will save me. Ultimately, he reached God. And then he said, God, you didn't save me. God said, well, I sent you 3 messengers. First was the neighbor. The second was the boatman. Third was the helicopter man. Who sent you there? I sent you. You didn't listen. You didn't understand. You had only blind faith. God will save me. How will God save you? He will save you through somebody, no? So these are interesting stories, but then they have such a deep meaning. We have to put God in between. Not that He saved me. Yes, God saved me through Him. God helped me through Him. But now as we have direct relationship with Baaba, we know how Baaba helps his children. The canopy of protection is there. A very interesting thing, I'll tell you, Dadi Prakash Mani, Dadi ji, she was sharing once that she was in a train and the train passed, and all of a sudden, as the train passed, the bridge from where the train passed, that bridge collapsed. Had the train been just 1 minute behind, that train would have also collapsed along with the bridge. But the bridge collapsed, the train passed away. She was in New York and the flight went up. And after that there was lightning and it struck the, what do you call, from where you get electricity. And there was darkness all over in New York when Dadi was there. She was sharing her experience. She could look from above, from the flight, that is pitch dark underneath. Because there was a big, big sound and the transformer got burned. Some lightning fell on it and it got burnt and there's pitch darkness in New York. But that was the last flight. And after that, for a long time, no flights because there was no electricity. So, Dadi gives wonderful experiences. One sister was sharing her experience that there was an earthquake early in the morning at 4 o'clock. And 4:15 and they had all got up and they went to Baba's room. The center was 1 floor, 1 story. They sat in Baba's room and they felt the earthquake. They were sitting in Baba's room meditating and the earthquake took place. Now, they didn't go anywhere. They just sat there because what to do? And that earthquake took place, that portion where their bedroom was, where their kitchen was, that side fell. And where Baba's room was, that was intact. And they were saved. Had they run, if they had run to the bedroom or run to the kitchen, well, something could have happened. But they couldn't do anything. What else could they do? Once Baba asked the children, Brahma Baba asked the children, supposing there's an earthquake, what will you do at that time? Run here and there? What will you do? Pardon? What will you do? Just remember Baba. I mean, will you really, okay, how much can you do? What can you do? Such situations will come. Or maybe Baba will give you some intuition. You will not only go there, that intuition can come too. Or at that moment you can feel the protection. So many things can happen. But even if you have to leave the body, you have to be ready. In a second, just go beyond. This is what we will experience at the end. Because anyway, we have to leave the body. But my last thought before leaving the body should not be a thought of stress, should not be a thought of fear, should not be any other thought of attachment, nothing. Just Baba. That's all. And antamate so gate, as Baba says, whatever is your last thought, on the basis of that will be your fate of the future. So that will depend on how much I'm able to have concentration of mind and absorption of my intellect in Baba. Otherwise, it's not so easy to pass in the last test, because last test will be the test of attachment. Attachment to people, attachment to belongings, attachments to objects, to places, so many things. For that we can practice sometimes, when I'm sitting here, supposing I'm leaving my body at this time, I'm leaving the body. Will I remember anyone? Will my mind and intellect be pulled towards any human beings or any objects? If yes, then it means I have a long way to go. If my mind and intellect are not pulled anywhere, yes, I'm reaching my destination. I'm close to my goal. So this is the practice, we have to do it continuously. One is the positive side. How much I'm absorbed in Baba's love. How much I'm thinking of just Baba and none other. And the other is how much I'm not thinking of anything else. At this moment, if I leave the body, will any human beings be remembered? Will any objects be remembered? Not at all. Then yes, just one Baba and none other. So that is called concentration of mind and absorption of intellect, where the mind is lost in love. Intellect and mind are lost in Baba's love, in the qualities of Baba. And the two become one. I am not separate from Baba. I absorb myself, it's just Baba, that's all, nothing else. I is merged in my, and that my and I are one. That is what they say in Bhakti, Atma and Paramatma same. Actually, this will be my last stage, when I am totally absorbed in Baba. Okay, let us experience that for some time. Yes? We have to absorb the mind and intellect in Baba's love. Not out of fear, not out of any temptation, oh, Baba is going to give me so much. No, that is second stage. Third stage is very, very low. Out of fear, oh Baba, if I don't remember you, then you will punish me. If I don't remember you, I will not become pure. Not to think like that. But it's just Baba and me and none other. So let us be absorbed in Baba's love. Have the pure thought. Of the self as a pure soul. Think of one quality and be absorbed in that quality. I am a pure soul. The child of the ocean of purity. Baba is so pure. I too am a pure soul. Purity will attract purity. I am attracted by Baba's purity. A sparkling diamond. A flawless diamond. Purity is my true nature. I absorb myself in God's purity. Like a drop merging in the ocean, I, the pure soul, merge myself in God's purity. And be lost in that consciousness. I radiate pure vibrations around me. Purity leads to peace and love. And happiness. I'm an embodiment of peace. I absorb myself in the ocean of peace. I experience peace all around me. Peace is my nature. Peace is my true religion. Peace is a great power, my very nature. I go into the depth of peace and absorb myself in the ocean of peace. My mind and intellect are in total bliss. I absorbed myself in Baaba's love. Love only for one Supreme Being. My true beloved. The ever-truth, the ever-blissful Father. You are my only one. It's just you and none other. Sweetest Baba, your canopy of protection is always above me. In your company, I experience great comfort and solace. I feel so light and detached. I feel so strong. I cannot be separated from you. We are always together. You are the Almighty, the All-Powerful. I feel so strong in your company.